Welcome, everyone, to episode 19 of Legit Darkness. Darkness Descends with the JK-47. Whoa, that's me. Yeah, man. So let's get started. First, legit tumblers. Get it. Get your logo on it. Keeps the hot stuff hot, the cold stuff cold. Highharvest.net. If you're down, they bring you up. That's what they do on the East Coast. And Chris Binder's in the house. There's my bro, JK-47. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Gonna have a good show tonight. Thank you to Parapost for streaming, allowing us legit to stream on there. And check out Global Ghost Hunts, guys. They just finished all their hunts, so you can check the repeats. Adkins is in the house. Oh, you're energized tonight. Yeah, man. I sure am. I've been researching this subject for the last week, and it's really kind of energized me. He's got a bad rap. That's what I'm saying. What's up, brother? And Chris Myers says, yeah, go Avs. Yeah, the Avs just started. So you can see I'm supporting. So, yeah, go Avs. They need to win tonight to get to Game 7. So, hopes and praise, love and light to them. May Spirit guide you to the goal. They're at home tonight. So, yeah, I would like to see Game 7. Same with the Nuggets. I want the Nuggets to win, too. You know, it's a Denver thing. Hey, I mean, Dallas has both teams in there, the Mavericks and the Stars. So that's who Denver's playing now, and that's who the Nuggets will play next. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, tonight, you guys. So if you missed my show on Tuesday, targeting with the JK-47, I did session number 7 for the Jameson family. Got some great stuff. I suggest you go and check out the video because even at the beginning, I asked, I said, is the Jameson family here? Jameson family, are you here? And my spirit guide said, yes, they are, sadly. And it was the clearest response I've heard in a while. So I suggest you go check it out. It's about a 9-minute watch. So if you got 9 minutes, if you're pooping or on a break or whatever, go check it out, man. It's a good thing. 123 views so far. So yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Anyways, let's continue on. So tonight, I just recently found out about a man named Aleister Crowley, and I've been watching a lot of videos, you guys. I've been watching a lot of stuff about him, and from the time he was born to our time now, there's been a lot of technological advances, and yeah, he's something else. Yeah, he is. Shannon Boomgar's in the house. What's up, Shannon? Welcome. Can't wait for your input on this. He's an interesting man because if you think about, he was born, I believe, we'll get into it. He was born in like 1875. Okay, that's like the 1800s. That's when the Salem witch trials and shit happened, and he was born over in the UK and stuff. So they were very religious. So if you did anything to oppose the religion, they would deem you a Satanist, devil worshiper, witch, whatever. And I've watched so many videos, you guys. Like this last week, I watched 3 2-hour videos on YouTube. I've been reading, and what we're going to go through tonight is all about him. And I just basically what I see him as is a paranormal explorer. You know, he believed in something that nobody else did, and people were criticizing him, labeling him as these things, and they only focused on the bad things on him so that he wouldn't I don't know, I guess give people second opinions about the religion and stuff. And that's the way the church is. If you look at Billy Carson, so Billy Carson is on TikTok a lot. He's got a lot of videos on TikTok, and he talks about the Anunnaki and how the church is hiding scriptures. They remove parts of the Bible that were written. They remove all this stuff because the best example is one of the videos of him that I watched. He said that if you notice in the Bible, Jesus goes from 12 to 30, and you don't know what happened in those years. And he went to Egypt. He went to Africa. He was studying religions, and he was getting all these inputs of what people believed in. And I think that's what make Jesus such a great man, is that he was willing to open himself to other people's opinions. And then that's what I do too. Does that make me a Satanist or a devil worshiper? I don't even believe in hell. I don't believe in demons. And until one's standing right behind me, like saying "fuck you" in my face, then I'm not gonna believe it. Billy Carson knows this shit. Yes, he does. He sure does. Didn't we watch him? Yeah, we did. I love his videos. Yeah, I love him too, man. He speaks the truth. I would love to have him as a guest. So, Billy Carson, if you see this, if Spirit Guide guides you to see this, I would love to have you on my show. I have so many questions I would love to ask you, and I mean, he does an excellent job in his research and everything that he does. But tonight's about Aleister Crowley. So Aleister Crowley, let me pull up the screen here. There's his images. Grew up in the UK, and he started his right here. You can see he started his own religion type base thing, like all the experiences that Aleister went through in his life. I gotta say, he grew up in a religious home, so they were devout Christians, and they believed in Jesus and stuff. And Aleister, I don't know if he was listening to his guides or what, but he didn't he didn't feel acceptable. He believed that there was more out there, and I think that he's an old soul, and he's come back so many times that he knew this wasn't right what they were doing. Ozzy Osbourne song, yeah. I love Ozzy. I mean, I love Ozzy, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin. Did a lot of dedication to him, and it's just interesting to read about and talk to you guys about. So we're gonna dig into some deeper research about it and see his life story and stuff, and we'll come to conclusions together. So Aleister Crowley, born Edward Alexander Crowley. He was born October 12th, 1875, and he died December 1st, 1947. Was an English occultist, philosophizer, ceremonial magician, poet, painter, novelist, mountaineer. So just based on that, he was a free spirit. That's what I get from that sentence. He had an open mind to other religions, which he did do throughout his life. He went to other areas to learn and get these other opinions of what happens after death. He founded the religion Thelema, identifying himself as a prophet. Now, identifying yourself as a prophet, I don't know. I mean, you look at the Mormon religion, and unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know the way you see it, I am a descendant of Joseph Smith. So if you don't know about the Mormon religion, Joseph Smith went out into the woods and found this tabernacle with this thing buried in the ground, and was able to determine. It's crazy to me. The best interpretation is on South Park. That's it. But I'm not going to get into the Mormon religion because it's all tied to Christianity and everything else pretty much. And my dad walked away from it, and I never got into it. So my spirit guide telling me that it's not something that you need to worry yourself about. So but so Aleister Crowley declared himself a prophet and entrusted with his guiding humanity into the Aeon Hours in the early 20th century. A prolific writer, he published widely over a course of life. So he wrote many of books. Mormons think aliens. Yes, I'm sure they do, and so does Aleister. When we get into his story here later, he talks about the aliens, and he opens these portals, and he actually saw the face of one of the aliens. But you got to realize, guys, this is back in 1875 to 1947. Okay, so there's no batteries. Everything is hardwired. They didn't invent the battery yet, because if they had batteries in 1940, we would have easily won the World War. But being in the military, I can remember, holding these old military 2 things that you'd have to wire everything to communicate. It was all hardwired. So what'd you say, Shannon? The breed Mormons is with Paladins. Okay, all right. I haven't dug into it too much, but I'm just kind of more concerned about Aleister Crowley because the session that I did on Tuesday was pretty intense. So I'm going to do a number 8 for the Jameson family, but pending after that, I might try to contact Mr. Aleister Crowley and see what we can find out. But let's go on. So born to a wealthy family in Royal Leamington Spa, Warwickshire, Crowley and his parents are fundamentalist Christian Plymouths to the faith and interest of Western Estrokins. I've had too many beers for that. So he was educated at Trinity College and University of Cambridge, where he focused his attention on mountaineering and poetry. So he's a spiritualist. He wants to, open himself up to the world. All right. Resulting in several publications. Some biographers allege that he was recruited into a British intelligence agency, so the BIA, further suggesting that he remained a spy throughout his life. In 1898, he joined the Estrocastic Hellenic Order of the Golden Dawn. I don't know. If somebody approached me and said, you need to join the Illuminati. You need to join my group. I would be like, no, I'm a single soul. I'd be like, thanks, but no thanks. I don't think I could do it, guys. Like, if somebody approached you, what would you do? Like a guy on the street, he comes up and he says your first name, last name, and he says, you need to join our group. Yeah, we're called the Heremic Order of the Golden Dawn. I would, I'm serious. I would be like, you know what? I already sacrificed myself to the U.S. Army. I ain't signing no other contracts. So, where? Oh, hey, Garrett, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, we're just talking about Aleister Crowley here. So, yeah, where he was trained in ceremonial magic by Samuel Little, McGregor Matthews, and Alan Bennett. Okay, so they taught him magic, but once again, guys, it's you got to realize this is a time before internet. Really phones started coming out, and it's kind of interesting. That they were able to find him so quickly. Considering he was in the intelligence agency, I'm sure his stuff wasn't like public record, but they found him. Unless there was a mole, that said, hey, we need to get a hold of this guy. That'd be interesting. I bet there was. That's what Spirit's telling me, is that there was a mole in there that led him to these people. Ceremonial magic by these two guys. He went mountaineering in Mexico with Oscar Exton and before studying Hindu and Buddhist. All right, so Hindu and Buddhism are pretty similar. They both believe in reincarnation. They both believe in people's energy. So it kind of leads into everything he does. To be power needed for man instead of one. Yeah. And Garrett's saying hey to you, Chris. And he practiced in India. In 1904, he married Rose Edith Kelly, and the honeymoon was in Cairo, Egypt. So not only has he been to India and China or wherever he was, where was he? But practicing Buddhism. Now he's in Cairo. So that brings Muslim, the Muslim religion into it. So where Crowley wrote down Book of the Law, a sacred text as the basis of Thelema. So that's the religion that he started, which is said is dedicated to a supernatural entity named Awes. All right, that's the first time I heard Awes, but I'm sure if I had Billy Carson on, he could tell me a whole bunch about that. I feel his wife was a witch. Oh, maybe. But witches are I don't know. I mean, I guess there's good witches and bad witches. I just feel they believe more in the earth and the energy from the earth than most people. I don't think it's fair to call them that. I don't know. I call them spiritualists. I believe in incantations. I use crystals. I'm not a warlock or a witch. And I do good things. And like I say, guys, it's all about your intentions. It's what you intend to do with the knowledge that you're given. So that it's one side or the other. No, right. She says, no, right. I don't feel bad. She's yeah. And that's the label that they gave people that didn't believe in the church and stuff. You were either a witch or a warlock, especially back then. After unsuccessful 1905 on the, I am not even going to try to pronounce that expedition, and visited to India and China, Crowley returned to Britain, where he attracted attention as a profile author in poetry, novels, and occult literature in 1907. Okay. He and George Cecil Jones co-founded the Esoteric Order of A&A, so which they portrayed Thelema. Okay, so that's when they founded his religion, was in 1907. After spending time in Algeria, so the guy came from a wealthy family, so he's able to travel to all these places, and expanding his mind. That's what he's doing. He wants to. He's obviously very intrigued by the way people are thinking about spirit, the way people worship spirit, the way people are doing things differently. But at the end game, like I was talking on the show I was on yesterday, God, as we call him, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, it's all one source. It's just translated in different different languages, different civilizations. They call it a different name, but it's all one source. We all pray to the same thing. So if the end of the world was coming, everybody's praying, to this one source. It's just named different in different civilizations. That's the way I see it. I don't think they're different gods. I think there's one source. And after spending his time in Algeria in 1912, he initiated another esoteric order, the German-based Ordo Temple Orot OTO, rising to become leader of its British branch. He reformulated and in accordance with Themalite beliefs through the OTO. Themalite groups were established in Britain, Australia, and North America. So let's see. Right there. Crowley spent the First World War in the United States. He took up painting, campaigned for German war efforts against Britain. Well, that's not good. That's like the protests that are going now. People taking up, against Palestine, against Israel. It's kind of weird how history repeats itself, but I fought in the Iraq War. I been in those third world countries, and I tell you, if those people were over there, they would not be agreeing with them. I'm telling you that right now. A lot of these people, it. First off, let me just talk about it. So it's not our war, okay? It's not our war. Israel is an ally. So if a friend needs help, you help your friend. If he's battling something and you want to do whatever you can to help that friend, survive and succeed. This is not our war. There's not U.S. troops on the ground with Israel troops. So I don't understand why these people are protesting so much, but that's a whole nother thing. That's their opinion. They've never been to war. They don't know what the Islamic State is like. These people could give two craps about you. That's why China's staying out of it, because in China, if you believe in Islam and stuff, you are a prisoner. They turn you into a slave in China, and it's a whole other thing. And I don't want to get political. It's horrible. it's horrible the way we treat each other, and I just wish we all could live in love and light. So, continuing on, where he took up the painting, campaigned in the German warfare against Britain, later revealing that he infiltrated a pro-German movement to assist British intelligence. So now he flips sides because, for some reason, in 1920 established the Abbey of Thelema in the religious commune of Kefalogiu in Sicily, where he lived with various followers. His libertine lifestyle led to denotations in the British press. Italian government evicted him in 1923. He divided the following 2 decades between France and Germany, England, and continued to promote Thelema until his death. So let's go to some of these comments here. Chris said, sometimes I find myself talking with sources. Yeah, sources where you want to be. I see you. Watch it did there. LOL. Chris said, yep. And Shannon says it's just politics. Yes. Yeah, I think the thing in life is not to make politics above your spirituality, because once you make politics above your spirituality, you lose all purpose in love and light. And I think that's the yin and yang, is politics and religion. You can't have one without the other. And I choose love and light. I used to be a very angry person, and I'm not anymore. I've learned that I gotta love myself before I can love others. I've learned patience, and I just don't think people take the time nowadays to learn patience and what being a good human being is. I think they would rather take sides because they feel supported by others, and that's the biggest thing between politics and religion. I'm feeling a little core-ish about Crowley. All right. Well, this is just a learning lesson, guys. I'm just reading off of Wikipedia here. I said I'd do some research, and I just wanted to know more about the guy, because some of the stuff that he does is very interesting. Crowley gained widespread notoriety during his lifetime, being a drug user, bisexual, and individualist and social critic. Crowley has remained highly influential figure over the Western exorcism and counterculture of the 1960s, and continues to be considered a prophet of Thelema. And he subjects various biographies and academic studies. So that, in a nutshell, that's his thing. So if you look at his youth, we'll make it quick here. Crowley was born Edward Alexander Crowley at 30 Clarendon Square in Royal Leamington Spa. Okay, that's in Warwickshire in 1875. As he grew up, I'll kind of summarize it because like I said, I've been watching a lot of videos on him. He grew up very Christian. His dad died, and his mother, he lived alone with his mother, which inherited all his dad's money and stuff. And he wouldn't listen to her. He wouldn't give himself to God. They put him in Catholic schools and stuff. His mom nicknamed him the Beast. And the reason, one video that I watched, is when he grew up, or when he was born, he had hairs on his heart in the shape of a swastika, supposedly. So I don't know. I wouldn't put too much into that with my son. I mean, I'm learning to chances. Did they think he was a cult leader? Yes, that's what they called him. Was a cult leader. So the fundamentalist group, the Plymouth Brethrens. Emily converted upon marriage. Crowley's father was particularly devout, spending his time as a preacher. So his dad was really religious, and his mom followed him. At the age of 8, Crowley was sent to H.T. Harrison's Evangelical Catholic School, or Christian boarding school in Hastings, and then preparatory school in Cambridge. Those are very renowned schools, especially back then. And who Crowley considered was a sadist. In 1887, when he was 11, his father died of tongue cancer. So his dad died of tongue cancer. I don't know how I would cut my tongue out. What the heck? How you die from tongue cancer? But I guess this is in 1911, or 1887. Yeah. So I'm sure they didn't know how to handle that crap back then. So Crowley described his turning point in his life, and always maintained admiration for his father, describing him as his hero, because his dad did everything he could to try to get him to accept the religion. And his dad was his man. His dad truly believed in him and believed he was in the right place. And I think swastikas, yeah. So I couldn't imagine losing my dad at 11. I look at my nephew. My brother died. My nephew was 14 when he passed. So it's a traumatic experience. But everything that his dad believed, as far as heaven and earth, I'm sure that he knew that his dad was in heaven. I'm sure he was just trying to contact him, any way that he knew how. But he began misbehaving in school, was harshly punished. Crowley's family removed him from the school and developed, that's when he developed albuminemia. I don't know that word. Let's see what it says. Pathological condition, written or protein present in the urine. So some kind of deficiency. He then attended a college school, despised. He left after a few terms. He became increasingly skeptical of Christianity. Well, yeah, because his dad died, and his dad believed in all this stuff. And I'm sure he would think that his dad would want to come and talk to him in a dream or something. He seems like, just reading off of this, you guys, in his younger years, I think he felt like an older soul. Like he's been there. He's come back a few times, and he knew there was more to life than what there is now. So he became increasingly skeptical of Christianity, pointing out biblical inconsistencies. All right. In his religious teachers. So if you think about when Billy Carson, everything that he says about all the scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Emerald Tablets, and everything that's written in the Bible, this is about the time when they started taking pages out of the Bible and stuff. And Aleister Crowley noticed this, and he's getting ridiculed for it. Chris says, I lost my dad a few years and still stuck. Yeah, man. I'm sorry for your loss, dude. But everything that I do, all the sessions that I do and everything, all the personal sessions, I'm telling you, your dad's still with you, man. All you got to do is ask for him, and he'll be there. He'll be there for you. If you miss him, he'll just ask for your dad. He'll show up in your dreams. When you're most vulnerable, when you're at your unconsciousness, when you're sleeping, if you really want to see your dad before you go to sleep, just say, "Hey, Dad, come say hi to me," and see what happens. See how that dream comes out. So Christian morality, uprising, smoking, masturbating, having sex. That's all shit that any kid that's a teenager goes through. He caught a bad one, caught gonorrhea, sent to live in Bethlehem, tutor, Eastbourne, undertook chemistry courses at Eastbourne College. Crowley developed an interest in chess, poetry, and mountain climbing. Does that sound like a saying? I don't know that many guys in black robes that are willing to go mountain climbing in their robes and stuff. Just, what'd you say? I'm just pointing out, it always hurts to lose your dad. Yeah. But thank you very much. Yeah, man. The best video that I've ever seen about losing a brother when I lost my brother was from Billy Bob Thornton. He says he's acclimating. He's 50% happy most of the time. He's 50% sad, because that bond I had with my brother, like growing up, I lost him when he was 42. So basically we lived together for 40 years, and I had to learn, and that was part of my spiritual journey, is learning that my brother's always with me, and whenever I need him, I just ask for him. So, and I'm sure this is what he's figuring out, because you guys got to realize this is back in the 1900s. Like, there's no internet. All they have are books, writing letters and listening to people talk. Yeah. No, it's a interesting video to watch when he talks about his dead brother. Anyways, he was sent to tutor in Eastbourne. He took a chemistry course at Eastbourne College. Crowley developed an interest in chess, poetry, and mountain climbing. And in 1894, he climbed the Beachy Heads over the Alps, joining Scottish Mountaineering Club. The following year, he returned to the Bernese Alps. He climbed Eger, Treft, so all those mountains. So, yeah, it really doesn't sound too much like a Satanist to me. I'm just saying. Having adopted the name Aleister over Edward, October 1895, Crowley began a 3-year course at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he entered for the moral science tripos, studying philosophy. So now he's starting to discover his spirituality. I'm sure climbing all those places and being outdoors, grounding yourself, thinking about what you've gone through in life, really, really open that up, and that's kind of like the journey I've gone through, going to these places and working with spirits, telling them, I want to help your case, and that's why the voices come through the box as much as they do. But he considered himself a professional chess player. So it sounds like he's at the highlight of his life. He continued mountaineering and a holiday in the Alps, 1894 to 1898, with his friend Oscar Exton. In 1897, the first ascent to Monk without a guide. So yeah, it sounds like he found something that finally interested him. But I could only imagine, guys, like climbing a mountain, and getting into that, that's the closest to God you could get, is climbing up a mountain. I mean, the silence that you would hear, um, the sights that you'd see, you'd feel so insignificant in this world. Uh, Mystical experience while on holiday in Stockholm in 1896. Several biographers, including those guys, believe this was a result of Crowley's first same-sex sexual experience, which enabled him to recognize his bodies. Okay, I don't see how that has anything, like, okay, whatever. I don't know, guys. Like, I don't have anything against, like, gay people. If you like a guy, you like a guy. But it's touchy subject for me, because I just don't understand how that happens. But I'm not gonna get into that. So I'm not gonna hold it against you either. But if you start pandering your shit on me and telling me I need to think that way, then that's where the problem comes. So he caught syphilis. So he has gonorrhea and syphilis by now. And entered two relationships, broke apart. Always increasing Western exorcism. Okay. 1897, Crowley traveled to St. Petersburg. So now he's in Russia. So now this guy goes to Russia. That's another religion, Russian Orthodox or whatever or is that Greek Orthodox? I don't know the religion in Russia. I'm assuming it's Christianity. It's very full diplomatic there, and he believes interest triggered his morality and fulfillity of human endeavor. Crowley abandoned all thoughts of diplomatic career in favor of pursuing interest in the occult. All right, so this is where he gets rid of his diplomatic point of views. So it was a communist country then, one leader, one rule, and that's where he started the occult. I'm sure his life wasn't the best point then, being in Russia at that time, because I think World War I is about to happen. And I don't know if Russia was in World War One. I think they were. Unless Cambridge a degree, despite so the Golden Dawn in 1898, Crowley was in Semet, Switzerland, as a chemist, baker, discussed. So I'm assuming this is a picture of him in his Golden Dawn uniform. Like I said, I somebody approached me and said you need to join our group. I don't think I could do that, man. I joined the army. I wore their uniform. I think I'm smart enough to stay on my own. And the fact that you're coming up to me asking me to join that's thankful enough. I don't think I could join a cult. I'd be like, thanks for the offer, but no thanks. So he moved to his own luxury flat at 67, 69. What'd Shannon say? The people that had money in Russia was good. Okay, I didn't know that. So see, guys, this is what I like. We're learning all together here. And I know I'm just kind of skimming through this, but I want to get to a lot of the good stuff that happens later. Let's see. Crowley soon progressed through the lower grades of the Golden Dawn and was ready to enter the group's inner second order. He was unpopular in the group. His bisexuality and libertine lifestyle gained a bad reputation. Well, I don't know. That was in Switzerland when he became part of the Golden Dawn. I don't know why the Swiss. I guess I could see the Swiss being against gays then, and his free lifestyle. I could see that, I guess. When the Golden Dawn London Lodge refused to initiate Crowley into the Second Order, he visited Mathers in Paris, who personally admitted him. So Paris was the one. Yeah, they're the weirdos. So Mexico, India, Paris, and marriage. So between 1900 and 1903, Crowley traveled to Mexico via United States, settling in Mexico City, starting a relationship with a local woman, developing love in country, continued experimenting with ceremonial magic. All right, so that's where he learned everything. And as far as ceremonial magic, was through the Golden Dawn, and the Golden Dawn started in Switzerland. So you got to remember that. So as far as the Swiss, you know, I think they're very Catholic now. I don't know what they were back then, but it looks like they were more pagan type religion, more earth based back in the 1900s, 1850s, 1900s, just based off of reading this. Developing his love for country, continued to experience ceremonial magic, working with John D. Ekron's incantations. So he later had been initiated into Freemasonry. So now you're getting into the Masons. Climbed several mountains. All right. And and a lot of medicine in Mexico. Yeah, so Mexico does have a lot of natural healings, a lot of historical Aztec findings. Once again, referring to Billy Carson, the temples that are in South America and in Mexico. Also are the same shape as the ones in Egypt, but they were built earlier than the ones in Egypt, according to Mr. Carson. So it's kind of interesting to see that. Brah. Later, which they found, where are we at? Adkin joined him later in 1900. They climbed several mountains, including those. Later, which they had to abandon owing to a volcanic eruption, leaving Mexico City. Crowley headed to San Francisco before sailing to Hawaii on the Nippon Maru. The ship he had. See, this guy is wealthy, so he was able to do this crap. So there's Crowley right there. That's a picture of him right here. Look how skinny he was on the K2 expedition. Briefly stopping in Japan and Hong Kong, Crowley reached Ceylon. 1902 is 1902 is when he went on the K2 attempt. I think that's in the Himalayas. I think that's like Mount Everest is K2. And they turned back. They reached an altitude of 20,000 feet before turning back. They had K2s, yeah, they did. This is cool, guys. I like this is the research I would sit down here for hours. This is going a lot quicker than it would with there. But I only got like 10 minutes left, so maybe I'll have to do a part 2. I think I might have to do a part 2, guys. So at least I'll have a subject for next week. But this is where we're leaving off, is developing thelema. So just remember where we're at. I'll rewatch it to make sure we know where we're at. But yeah, guys, I've learned a lot so far, and like I was saying, this guy, he you know, he made some bad choices in life, you know, but we haven't even gotten into the stuff where he really starts these incantations and stuff. we haven't gotten to the part where he lived in the Loch Ness and started doing these spells. So he would do these incantations, he would do these spells, but he would never close the portal. Okay, so the first sighting of the Loch Ness monster was in 1933. Okay, and I believe we were just about to get to the point where he moved to Scotland at the Loch Ness, and that's where he really started practicing. And he started doing this stuff all over. He would never close the portals. That's the most interesting part, because if you think about all the alien sightings, all the Loch Ness sightings, all the Bigfoot sightings, he was at these places and he never closed these portals. Like it's going to get much more intense. So stay tuned for part 2. Part 2 is going to be crazy. I can't wait for part 2. Chris says, been for me, so thanks, buddy. Definitely at least maybe 2 more. No, I'm interested. Now I'm interested, and we'll learn together. I promise I won't dig into it anymore. I don't want to spoil anything, but what I will do is I'll pull a card for the weekend, you guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. So here's our card for the weekend. This is a group card. This is my spirit guides talking. This is your spirit guides talking. This is going to be a message that influences us all. And it says, listen deeply. Okay. So your guides are telling you to listen deeply. That means just take that extra moment. Okay. So think about what we just learned about Mr. Crowley. All right. He went through his life. He was listening to everything that his guys are saying. He was following his life path. That's what we have to do. So if you're at a point in your life where you don't know to go left or right, just take a moment to concentrate, breathe in, breathe out, ask your guides, what do I need to do? Please help me. You're my guides. And they will show you the way. You just got to listen. You got to listen. It just takes practice and trusting. So, with that, guys, I can't thank you enough for all your time today. And, I'll see you next week for part 2. And we left off at the developing Thelema. So I'm marking that right now. And have a good night, you guys. And go Avs.